The law is supposed to be a fortress of reason, a shining shield between civilization and chaos. But sometimes that shield isn't steel. It's cardboard wrapped in duct tape, wobbling in the wind. Hidden deep inside the American legal system are rules so bizarre, so wonderfully absurd, they read less like statutes and more like rejected stand-up jokes. We're not talking about dusty, irrelevant technicalities. We're talking about laws that make you stop, squint, and ask, wait, someone really wrote this down? And other people voted yes? These laws are the stuff of comedy clubs, except they carry real penalties. And here's the funny thing. Every one of these laws exists because someone, at some point, actually did the thing it bans. Human behavior was so ridiculous that the government decided to step in with paperwork. So buckle up, because this is your guided tour through 10 of the dumbest, weirdest, most head-scratching laws in America. In California, it is illegal to lick toads. Yes, lawmakers actually had to gather in a room and say, this is a problem. The culprit? The Sonoran Desert toad. Its skin oozes a chemical called bufotenin, which can alter your brain chemistry. Basically, it's nature's weirdest party trick. Instead of running away, some genius once looked at this swampy amphibian and thought, better put my tongue on it. It didn't take long before people started deliberately toad tripping. And where there's a trend, there's a law. California finally banned amphibian makeout sessions, probably after too many emergency room visits that started with, well, officer, he said the frog looked magical. Imagine a backyard party, music blasting, people sipping drinks, when one guy crouches in the corner, tongue pressed to a fat toad like it's a shot glass. Cue the police officer kicking down the fence. All right, buddy, tongue where I can see it. California can handle earthquakes, wildfires, and Hollywood egos, but even they drew the line at frog French kissing. Idaho has a law that makes it illegal to give someone a box of candy weighing more than 50 pounds. That's not a gift, that's a weapon. This law dates back to the early 1900s, when men tried to impress women not with flowers or jewelry, but with gigantic crates of candy. Romance back then meant showing up with a sugar coffin big enough to crush your porch steps. At some point, lawmakers said, gentlemen, we need to protect both women's health and the structural integrity of their doorways. Picture a guy sweating as he drags a box of truffles the size of a refrigerator. Surprise, honey! Hope you also wanted a lifetime of dental work. And here's the kicker. There's a loophole. Nothing stops you from delivering 51-pound boxes. So technically, Idaho didn't kill bad romance, they just made it more exhausting. Imagine hauling box after box into the house until your date says, honestly, flowers would have been fine. In Maine, it's illegal to keep Christmas decorations up after January 14th. The logic? Holiday cheer can quickly morph into neighborhood terrorism when Rudolph is still glowing in your yard by Valentine's Day. At some point, lawmakers had to step in with a hard deadline, mid-January. It's easy to picture, a plastic reindeer still standing proud in March, half-tilted, its light bulb eye flickering like it just gave up on life. Neighbors glare every time they drive past, muttering, "It's Easter, Bob. Take down Santa." And of course, there's always that one stubborn homeowner who says, "It's not decorations, it's art." Meanwhile, the rest of the street is plotting to, accidentally, knock Frosty over with a snowblower. Maine doesn't care how festive you feel. January 15th hits, and suddenly your inflatable snowman is contraband. Hey, if you're enjoying this trip through America's strangest laws, take a second to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you don't want to miss the next round of ridiculousness, subscribe and ring the bell. Trust me, we've only just scratched the surface of the legal weirdness hiding in the books. In Alabama, it's illegal to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter. Clearly, this law was designed for one man, the prankster in the back pew, who thought a 10-cent disguise was the peak of comedy during a sermon. You can almost hear the preacher thundering about fire and brimstone while one guy shakes with silent laughter at a crooked mustache taped to his lip. Now, the law doesn't say anything about wigs, clown noses, or Groucho Marx glasses, just mustaches. Which makes you wonder, was there one epic Sunday morning where someone caused such chaos with a fake mustache that lawmakers said, "Never again"? Alabama's message is simple. In God's house, jokes are a sin, especially if they involve party store facial hair. In Kansas, it's illegal to serve wine in teacups. The origin is serious. During Prohibition, people disguised alcohol in household containers, including teacups. Lawmakers cracked down, and the rule somehow survived. The result today is hilarious. You can drink whiskey from a cowboy boot, vodka from a cereal bowl, or tequila straight out of a blender. But pour Merlot into a teacup? Suddenly, you're a criminal mastermind. Imagine hosting a book club. Everyone's sipping tea out of porcelain cups when the cops burst in yelling, "Drop the Earl Grey, it's Cabernet." Kansas law basically says, liquor is fine, just don't make it classy. In Michigan, it's illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant, which means this happened often enough that someone felt legislation was necessary. Apparently, folks were walking their pet gators through town and treating hydrants like reptile parking spots. The mental image is absurd. Firefighters rushing to put out a blaze only to find a 10-foot reptile chained to their water supply, hissing at anyone who gets too close. And it makes you wonder, if hydrants are off limits, where can you tie your gator? Bike racks? Lamp posts? Michigan lawmakers gave us the rule but forgot the FAQ. In Mississippi, it's illegal to teach anyone what polygamy is, not to practice it, just to explain it. Lawmakers essentially tried to outlaw the dictionary. The result? A classroom where the teacher reaches the P section and suddenly has to skip 20 pages. All right, kids, after polyester, we jump straight to polygon. Nothing interesting in between, don't ask. And you can only imagine the awkward silence at spelling bees. Your word is… Never mind, let's skip that one. Ignorance isn't just bliss in Mississippi, it's mandatory. In Missouri, it's illegal to drive with an uncaged bear. The wording implies that driving with a caged bear is perfectly fine. So lawmakers weren't worried about bears in general, just loose ones roaming the passenger seat. Imagine a family road trip, dad at the wheel, mom handing out snacks, kids in the back seat, and a grizzly casually riding shotgun with sunglasses on, paw hanging out the window. It raises questions. Who reported the incident that caused this law? Did a bear once really climb into a convertible and enjoy the breeze before police showed up? Missouri law says seatbelts are for everyone, even Smokey. In New York, it's illegal to wear slippers in public after 10 p.m. This law grew out of old tenement rules about late-night noise, since soft slippers encouraged people to sneak around buildings without being heard. But the modern wording makes it sound like the city created a footwear police squad. Imagine stepping out for a midnight snack in bunny slippers, only to get stopped. Sir, step away from the fluffy footwear, put on real shoes. And the irony? This is New York City, a place where you can walk down the street in a full chicken costume and no one bats an eye, but wear slippers after 10 p.m.? That's a crime. New York, the city that never sleeps, unless your footwear does. In Ohio, it's illegal to get a fish drunk. The original intent was environmental, to stop people from dumping alcohol into rivers and messing with ecosystems. But the phrasing makes it sound like fish prohibition. Picture it, a tiny game warden holding a breathalyzer up to a carp, shouting, "Blow, damn it, blow!" Or worse, fish gathered in shady underwater bars, nervously sipping contraband Chardonnay. And just imagine explaining this ticket to your friends. Yeah, I got fined last week. Apparently, I was serving beer to goldfish. Ohio doesn't care about your boat or your fishing license. Just keep the cocktails out of the aquarium. And there you have it. 10 laws that prove America doesn't just legislate order, it legislates nonsense. These rules weren't written by comedians, but they may as well have been. From candy coffins to amphibian French kisses, from Christmas police to undercover teacups, the U.S. legal code isn't just a monument to logic, it's a scrapbook of absurd human behavior. But here's where you come in. We know this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you've heard about any other ridiculous rules, or you've seen bizarre behavior that deserves to be outlawed, drop it in the comments below. We'll dig into your suggestions and maybe feature them in part 2 of this series. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment to keep this tour of nonsense rolling. Who knows? Your weird law tip might be the star of the next video.